So we're talking initiatives right now. There's a bunch of initiatives all around the country, and actually this is part of the damn conversation as well. So let's take a look at some of these initiatives around the country. I'm excited to watch Rhode Island. They got a constitutional convention question. Some of these states have a reoccurring every 5-10 years. Do we have a constitutional convention? It would be nice just to be on the same page with the American people for once. These are our freedoms. These are not our freedoms. I would much rather live in a society that petitions, peacefully assembles, and does religion. I would rather be in a society that looks to the freedoms that we have in our Bill of Rights in order to resolve our disputes, instead of the lying, cheating, stealing, maiming, torturing, raping, stealing, assaulting, murdering. I'd rather have a lawful society, because one of the end objects is to protect our freedoms. So if we're going to protect our freedoms, then our freedoms have to be used, and then people would have to enforce those freedoms. Imagine if God himself said that we have a right to peacefully assemble. We have a right to petition. We have a right to speak. We have a right to have the freedoms that we have. And so if God was enforcing these laws, then that means the freedoms would be protected for ourselves and for posterity. So that's one of the 6 end objects. And then to have somebody say, okay, look at that preamble, and we've got to perfect our union. We've got to ensure domestic tranquility. We've got to promote the general welfare. And we actually do those things. We actually look at those virtues, write down a list of what those virtues means, and then lead with our virtue. Just liberty and justice for all. For liberty and justice for all. Yeah, right. Is that what we're actually fucking doing out here? We are not doing liberty and justice for all. When I grew up, I actually had a person that raised me that said that they were against freedom. They were against freedom. My God, all the shit that has been talked about with freedom throughout the years. You didn't know we had freedom, right? I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, right? I mean, I remember people say it's a free country. Just so many fucking things people fucking said, and it's like, oh, we're a free country? I've never known that. When the hell did that happen? It's disgusting and despicable how some fucking people act. They'll wave the Confederate flag and say they got the freedoms that Americans give them, but then they're going to sit there and wave a fucking flag that says they're declaring war against this country. Okay, well, that's contumely. That's fucking Chaplinsky. That's fucking fighting words, motherfucker. That's fucking fighting words. Having a fucking Nazi flag, your swastika, take your swastika and shove it up your ass. You white supremacist pile of shit. So Rhode Island Constitutional Convention would be exciting. It'd be exciting just to see if one of these damn states would actually do. We're supposed to have a revolution every 20 years. We had one 250 years ago, and then we haven't had, I guess elections are a type of revolution. Maybe, if the election actually brings about good changes. Alright, so let's see. What do we got here? In Arizona, Proposition 135, it's going to limit the governor's emergency powers to 30 days. So during a fire, flood, or war, the governor only has emergency power for 30 days. Then the legislature has to extend it. No judge terms. So they're also in Arizona, Proposition 135, they're going to give unlimited terms to the judges. That's absolutely fucking stupid. These motherfuckers think they're above the law. They think that the law don't fucking apply to them. They believe they got absolute immunity with all their fucking bullshit. Stump v. Sparkman, they went ahead and sterilized that little girl. And it wasn't the judge's fault, nor the lying mothers, nor the doctors. Hell, nobody fucking did it. DeShaney. You had little Joshua DeShaney, who got beat up until he was turned, mentally incapacitated, mentally retarded. Whose fault is that? Nobody's. It's not the fathers. It's not the judges. Nobody's fault whatsoever. Not the cops. Not the child services. Nobody knew. Nobody cares. So therefore, they don't have. A police officer has to do their due diligence. They got to do the bare minimum. Oh, a crime may have occurred. You got to fucking investigate. You got to try at least somewhat. What the fuck? I once told a police officer we have a right to be free from crime. No, you don't. Well, what the fuck are you doing? We don't have a right to be free from crime. Are you stupid? Proposition 312, property tax returned if homeless are not kicked out. Arizona, what the fuck are you doing? $20 conviction fee for a $250,000 for the family of the first responder who gets killed. So we're going to work on the pensions, right? And then a $20 conviction fee. It's all about the fucking money, isn't it? All about the fucking money. Jesus Christ. Now there's going to be a profit incentive, right? Get the conviction and then that's where you get your fucking taxes from. Arkansas issue number 1, state lottery. In order to fund scholarship and grants, vocational schools, technical institutes. I like that. Arkansas issue 1. Issue 2, Arkansas Pope County casino license going to be removed from the Constitution. California number 5, 2/3 down to 55%. If you're going to have taxes for housing or infrastructure, you don't need 66.6% of the vote. You just need 55% of the vote. California issue number 33, repeal prohibition on rent control. So prohibition on rent control. No, you can't do rent control. We're going to repeal that prohibition. So this is actually a good thing. It allows rent control for single family dwellings. We got to do something about the housing crisis. California issue number 3, codify the right to marry. Another good one. Florida, amendment number 2, state constitution, you have a right to hunt and fish. I like that one. Florida, amendment number 6, repeal the state financed elections. That's a bad one. That's a stupid one. What the fuck are you doing, Florida? You got one good one, then you go do a bad one. They're trying to legalize marijuana in Florida too. So are both of the Dakotas. In Hawaii, question number 1, they're going to remove the homophobic language on marriage. So they're going to try to allow gay marriage in Hawaii. That's exciting. Indiana, they're going to remove the superintendent of public instruction from the gubernatorial line of succession. Man, in Indiana, you had the father who had killed the son for not doing dishes. The Indiana, I want to say that was also where the son had killed father for having stinky feet. Murders are happening over and over again in Indiana. And looks like they're going to reelect their fucking, right-wing red bastards. But then the other one, what was that other killing? Oh my God. This other killing, you have a mother and a father who killed their own children. They're potheads. They were like doing texts. They were texting each other. The father was hanging out with a friend, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I killed the kid. I killed my own kids." So they Susan Smith their own kids. And then there's so many fucking fucked up shit about this thing. So in Indiana, the father and the mother, the father apparently fucking kills the kids, buried them, and pulls them back up, puts them into the fire, and then takes one of the bone, and he's like wearing a bone necklace or some shit. Well, hopefully they find that bone necklace because that's evidence. There's corpus delicti. Some fucking lawyer was saying, well, they can't actually tell if they had 2 children or 3 children because they never registered them. They never went to the hospital. They never got a social security number. So nobody knew about these 2 or 3 kids. And the text messages between the mother and father is kind of like, you're a baby killer. That's who you are. It's like they're being flirtatious about fucking killing their own kids. It's like neither one of them really gave a flying fucking shit. I saw some of the pictures where he was like hugging him and had the kid right next to him and shit. It was fucking sick as fuck. And so now we have a lawyer that's saying corpus delicti. So you got to have the body, right? You got to have the evidence of the crime, the probable cause of the crime before you can carry on with it. So because of some pithy fucking Latin phrase, because of a pithy Latin phrase, we're going to allow 2 fucking parents who killed their own kids to walk free, to get out scot-free. Talk about some sick fucking shit. Talk about some sick fucking shit. They should be behind bars forever and ever. At the very least, they should be behind bars forever and ever. Corpus delicti. That's so Indiana's having all these major problems, and what are we doing in Indiana? We're going to remove the superintendent of public instruction from the gubernatorial line of succession. There's only been one governor in America that's ever been assassinated. That was William Justice Goebel, 1900 Kentucky. So one fucking governor, this is not a priority. This is not fucking important. This is just a slap in the face of whoever the damn superintendent of public instruction is now. This is a bunch of internal fucking gossip. The Indiana motherfucking state this is what you guys have initiatives and referendums for? Stupid, man. Indiana is so fucking stupid. The land of Indians, huh? Yeah, where the Native Americans at? They're all fucking gone. You got a bunch of douchebags living in fucking Indiana. Proposition 127. Colorado, prohibit hunting and trapping bobcats, lynx, and mountain lions. Colorado H, rules for judicial discipline process. That seems like a good one. Amendment K, shorter petition period by 1 week. Oh, great. Shorten the petition period. But they just keep scaling back their fucking democracy. Keep scaling it back, Remove homophobic language from Colorado Constitution. Supreme Court has already fucking said it was bullshit. But there it sits, right there in Colorado Constitution, right? So that's actually a good thing. That reminds me of Hawaii, right? So Hawaii's question 1 and Colorado's Amendment J are pretty much the same thing. Amendment JJ, keep money from the sports betting over $29 million. Why? It's like they just can't wait to take the fucking taxes, right, for themselves. I mean, who's making all the money on this sports betting? And how big of a market is sports betting? Question number 1, Maine limit $5,000, the political donations to $5,000 per individuals. People are actually donating $5,000 fucking dollars to individuals. Why don't you limit it to $500 fucking dollars? Question number 5, in Maine they're going to try to replace the state flag with the pine tree flag. I mean, I don't know how important that is. How beautiful is this pine tree flag? From what flag to what flag? Let's take a look at it, huh? Maine pine tree flag. It's just a pine tree and a star. And this is, it was the original state flag of Maine, which featured a green. And then what's the one today? What's the damn flag today? Is it not the pine tree? We need to get back to the pine tree flag. Hey, what's the biggest problem we have? We don't have a pine tree flag. So now you have, you got this weird fucking Latin thing. I like it. It's a pioneer and then this guy here in a hat, Dirigo. It's got a pine tree in the middle and a moose, and it's got like a coat of arms. So, you know, whatever, you know. I think the pine tree flag is a little bit more simple to put the shit on the map. What does Dirigo mean? What does Dirigo mean? Well, it means I direct or I lead. I direct, I lead. I agree that the pine tree flag is a lot better than this fucking overly complicated coat of arms. Since it's got this, there's more going on with the current flag, but maybe it's that weird little guy in a hat. The pioneer looks cool, but then the emblem in the middle, the moose, the water, the tree. I don't understand people, frankly. I mean, I like the pine tree flag. It's just more simplistic and more simple. But you're going to lose your moose and you're going to lose the water. Whatever. Whatever. Okay, so apparently Maine doesn't have any real issues, or maybe their fucking politicians aren't curing the real issues. Missouri, Amendment number 1, exempt child care facilities from taxes. I like that a lot. Missouri has a lot of fucking questions. I didn't know Missouri was so prolific when it comes to initiatives and referendums. A lot of states don't even have any fucking questions to answer. Hey, what do you think there in Alabama? Shut the fuck up. Hey, Mississippi, you got some questions to answer? No, you shut the hell up. You're just the people of Mississippi. You don't have a right to speak up, you dumb motherfuckers. It's interesting that Kentucky actually has 2 questions this year. It's very rare that any questions are presented to the people. Missouri A4, Amendment 4, minimum funding for the police. So I guess that's a big slap in the face to defund the police. You know, there's a lot of small towns that don't even have police. They don't have a town council. They don't have mayors. They would spend all their money on the police, and then it would go nowhere. So, you know, there's a lot of places in America that don't have police, and they tend to do okay. They tend to do fine. And so to imagine having no police is not a bad fucking idea. We're going to say, okay, no, that guy over there gets the right to murder all the rest of us. And hell, I got money, so I'll just fucking throw money at that bastard and I'll make sure he's on my side. I'll give that man over there the right to bear, a license to kill, and then I'll be the first one to suck his dick. Oh, wow, that's great Americans. It's supposed to be a nation of free men. A nation of free men and women. And you're going to hurry up and make sure that that man gets a license to murder, and then you're going to hurry up and suck his fucking dick, huh? Jesus fucking Christ. Missouri, let's see, A1, exempt child care facilities from taxes. I like that. A1, minimum funding for the police. I do not like that. A4, Amendment 4. Amendment 3, the right to condoms. I like that because I think it's the right to abortion, but it's also just right to contraceptions. Griswold v. Connecticut is one of my favorite Supreme Court decisions ever. It says you don't just have the right to the freedom, but you have a right to the peripheral freedoms that you need in order. So you have a right to speak, but you also have a right to associate, because what is the point of speaking if you don't have a right to speak, to somebody? So you also have a right to associate. And a right to petition. You have a right to petition your government for redress of grievances, but where are you going to get those signatures from? So therefore you have a right to ask people for to sign a petition. Money for former sheriffs, former prosecutors, and former circuit court judges. So fucking Missouri is trying to fatten those pensions up. Hey, the prosecutors, they want to fucking live on Easy Street forever and ever. So we're going to worry about big fat pensions for former circuit court judges, former prosecutors, and former sheriffs. What the fuck are we doing? We need big fat pensions for these guys, huh? I mean, he was a sheriff for a day, so let him just live on Easy Street. And then once they already make 6 fucking figures. No, fuck that shit. I feel like you gotta have at least goddamn 50 years in this shit before you get a big fat pension. That's gonna break Missouri in the long run. Big fat pensions for former sheriffs, prosecutors, and circuit court judges. We're just throwing tax money at people that aren't even doing any services. And then is there a minimum that they have to work in order to get these big fat pensions? Amendment 6, very terrible, Missouri. Amendment number 7, prohibit ranked choice voting and allow plurality winners in primaries. Again, Missouri, you're going backwards with some shit. Right to condoms is good. Exempting child care from, child care facilities from taxes is good. Minimum funding for the police, and then a minimum fucking pension for former sheriffs, prosecutors, and circuit court judges. And you're going to get rid of ranked choice voting, and you're going to allow plurality winners. You don't even need a majority. Hell, if there's 10 people and then one of you win 31%, you don't break the majority, but you're above the rest of them, then give it to the guy who won 31%. The reason why you need majority is because you need to have democratic legitimacy. If you don't have the majority of your countrymen that voted for you, then you don't represent the fucking people. You're not doing democracy right. Is it any shocker that with the despicable deplorables about the vote for Donald, that they don't give a fuck about democracy? North Dakota, a lot of fucking fascist motherfuckers. A lot of motherfucking fascists, corporate motherfucking fascists. You got goddamn public school fucking fascists. You got police, first responder fascists. Even the EMS and the fire department are a bunch of fucking fascist fucks. And then they're bombing of Gaza and Palestine, the military-industrial complex, 1,000 military bases. My God, we just have a big fat military class just sitting and eating off the fucking dole. Are they doing a goddamn thing for any one of us? Prohibit ranked choice voting. Stupid. Amendment number 7. If Missouri votes for half their fucking amendments, then, well, I mean, they're just voting to basically shoot themselves in the foot. Hey, you want to shoot yourselves in the foot? I sure do. And I want to pay a lot of taxes for it. Make sure we get rid of the democracy. No majority, no. I don't want no ranked choice voting. I just want nice, good old partisan bickering. North Dakota number 2. Harder for initiatives. What the fuck is North Dakota doing? Missouri, you guys are making your democracies more difficult. Why would you make your fucking democracies more difficult? It's like Amendment K of Colorado. Missouri, Amendment 7. North Dakota number 2, harder for initiatives. What the fuck? 2 states have school choice. This is actually exciting because I want my children to go to a freedom and democracy school. And, there are school board elections. And so in some respect, you can reform the public education schools. So I bet you there are some schools around America that are actually good for their children. If you make your fucking straight A's, you do what you're supposed to do. Well, they want to, get you in a direction to where you succeed instead of having just a bunch of fucking insecure fucking piles of shit. Well, I'm the boss of everybody here, and I get all the money and I get all the power. Well, how do I learn how to get any power or any money? Are you going to encourage me? No. I'm going to take the money and the power, and I'm going to tell you what to do, and I'm going to make you do a bunch of stuff, and then I don't care if that helps you in your life. Okay, well, that's fucking horse shit. That's terrible. That's not good. Kentucky is pushing for school choice, issue number 2. In Colorado, issue 80. So issue 80 in Colorado, school choice, and issue number 2 in Kentucky. So I want a Summerhill kind of education. I want a Sudbury school kind of education. These are good fucking schools. You get some competition with public schools. They're a bunch of totalitarian right-wing fucking fascists. If you actually get some competition, then they'll lose, private schools. They'll lose their fucking tax dollars going to private schools because people would rather their kids go to private school because those who care about their kids want their kids to actually get a good education. 6.5% tax on guns. This is Proposition KK in Colorado, which is interesting. We need to raise taxes on guns. Is that like a sin tax or some shit? Let's see. Amendment K, shorter petition period by 1 week. Amendment J, remove homophobic language. See, JJ, keep money from the sports betting. I've already mentioned all those things. Prohibit, let's see. There's more out there. I'm just not talking about all of them. There's a lot of ones that just don't interest me. California, there's 34, 35, and 36. Rhode Island has a constitutional convention. Utah, 4-year terms for sheriffs, which is, what's that about? Why do we need to say that there's 4-year terms for sheriffs in Utah? Are they just having 10-year terms or some shit, or just 1-year terms? If it's 1 year, moving up to 4 years, I like that. At 4 years seems like a good average number. If they had 10-year terms, taking it down to 4, I like that too. I like it both ways. 4-year terms for sheriffs in Utah. I am in favor of it. And then Oregon. They're going to give the power to impeach and remove the governor, the secretary of state, and the attorney general, the treasurer, and the commissioner of labor and industries. Which, why don't they have impeachment anyways? You can't impeach your public officials, Oregon. To have that power in general is just a good idea anyways. I mean, if they don't have any recourse whatsoever, the governor, the secretary of state, the attorney general, treasurer, commissioner of labor and industry, then what the fuck are you guys even doing? North Dakota, 81-year-olds can't be U.S. rep or senator, so they're trying to make anybody who's over 81 years of age retire. I like that too. You're 81 years old. I guess in a way if the people want an 81-year-old, but people just get so damned entrenched, and it's like are you not cultivating good politicians? Are you not cultivating a leadership class in North Dakota? Because if you have to bar an 81-year-old from being a representative, then that means you have an old fossilized class. But that's kind of happened all across America. New Hampshire's doing the same thing with sheriff and judges. If you're 70 years old, you're mandatory. You have to retire. Judges, if you're 75 or older, you have to retire. These are questions on the ballot. So I think that's a good idea. There's some places, I want to say Pueblo, Colorado, where you have to be physically fit in order to be a police officer. But apparently in New Hampshire, you could be 70-year-old, 80-year-old, 90-year-old, right? Oh, well, he can't really run after anybody, but man, you should see how fast he goes on that golf cart. Man, he goes super fast. So if there's an actual strong guy who's robbing shit, then that fucking 70-year-old isn't going to do a damn thing. He's going to have to hire some young buck to go do it. Nevada, number 4, remove slavery language. Okay, why do you have slavery language? Nevada, number 5, diapers are exempt from sales tax. I like that. We're thinking about child care. We are exempting diapers from sales tax. We're also exempting, it's kind of like Missouri, right? The amendment number 1, exempt child care facilities from taxes. So just diapers and adult diapers too. So number 1, in Nevada, remove the Board of Regents. Nevada, do you not have real fucking problems? That's the only fucking thing. Well, we need to get rid of the Board of Regents. Who's that? Well, that's the board that controls the universities. And we're going to replace it with something else. Again, just internal politics. They don't like the people that's on the Board of Regents, so they're going to try to fucking do some internal shuffling. So, kind of a lot of stupid initiatives. I wish we were doing more important things in America. When I think about our basket, our bushel of freedoms, our state rights combined with our American rights, one of the end objects is to protect the blessings of liberty for ourselves and posterity. Liberty and justice for all. I wish our fucking ideals actually matched our rhetoric. I wish our ideals actually matched our rhetoric. I had a list of a whole bunch of freedom quotes around here somewhere. I'm going to pull those back up and I'm going to read those later on.